What does Overpass, Italy, and Baggage all have in common for CS2? Well, Frisk 3D was involved in remaking them. She was hired to Valve in 2021 and since helped with the release of multiple maps for Counter-Strike 2. This isn't just any map maker from the workshop. Before Valve, she was behind multiple Valorant maps at Riot. Now that a few maps she worked on for Valve are out and playable in-game, she moved on to new projects. You might be wondering what map she is working on now for CS2 though. Well, luckily, we have an updated look. This is dharma, the map Gino and Frisk 3D are working on. There was a CSGO version that got playtested, but now for CS2, they are recreating the map, which you may have seen in Facet's map core. We do have updated looks to a few spots, but this is the work in progress version of it. You get to see the overall layout and how it will play. It seems to have a similar CT spawn idea compared to Overpass, where the defenders spawn directly on the A site. Then for the B site, there's a higher up peak spot, but you can get there also by jumping up. The original map maker involved, Gino, has provided us an update with this picture where you can see they have started to add more designs to the buildings near mid. There's a new grate with signs on the wall and a little bit more. As well as this, Frisk 3D has shared this picture of some graffiti on the wall with a few other props around, which aren't in our current version. Going all the way back to CSGO, there is a bunch of different artworks all around, so I'm excited to see them return for CS2 when the map just gets more detailed. Gino, one of the creators, has said there's a ton of work pending, yet just imagining Counter-Strike players playing on the finished version excites me. This map is being remade by not just anybody from the Steam Workshop, but an Ex-Riot and Valve artist who worked on multiple maps and helped with recreating maps specifically for CS2. Now, Frisk 3D has provided us a new update to the map showing off this section indoors and looking out the window. This is what it looked like before compared to when it's actually designed now, so you can get a nice feel for the map and the new style. The amount of detail will be a huge upgrade, especially compared to CSGO, as for example, this window wasn't even open before. This currently is our only in-depth look at the Source 2 version of the map, but you can already tell it looks great. dharma is overall really nice and has a unique feel, especially if you are someone who is not a fan of the desert design, which is common in other maps. For example, there is multiple trees, so at least we get some greenery. The thing is that this map isn't like others which are already finished on the workshop, but the fact that it is being made by someone who worked on multiple official Valve maps for CS2, I would say brings up the likelihood we see it maybe in the future. Of course, this doesn't mean it will officially come to the game, but it is definitely something to look out for and check out when the map is finished. Frisk 3D also worked on Valorant maps like Split, Breeze, Icebox, Ascent, Haven, Bind, and more. I think what I like the most is the fact that it will be some style that we haven't really seen yet, especially in CS2. But of course, we haven't really seen much in CS2 anyways. I'm excited for when we get to see a more finalized version. For example, like this huge building on the side. It looks really nice in CSGO, but I'm sure in CS2 it will be a lot better. Also, I am hoping the big elephant makes a return. A cool feature I didn't notice at first until Gio pointed it out is this map has custom doors, which means that you can actually shoot it fully down. For example, you wouldn't be able to do this on Nuke without a grenade. I just wanted to point out this map as I haven't really seen anybody sort of talk about it, and it's going right under the radar even though it's being made by somebody who helped make Overpass, Italy, and Baggage. We have previously taken looks at Cash being made by FM Pwn and how that is expected to release next year. So if we imagine both maps maybe on a similar timeline, we potentially won't see it finished until around 2025. Of course, we have no actual date for when they plan to finish dharma, but Frisk has shared with us this update on a cool section. So whatever Gino and Frisk have in store for us with this map, I'm sure it will look great either way, and it will only be a matter of time. Frisk decided to work on dharma out of any map she could have chosen from, so I'm sure there's something that she sees in it. Of course, we only have this gray version of the map in CS2, but let me know what your thoughts are on it in general. Would you want a map like this in the game? Make sure to check out the previous version if you want on the workshop. I will not be surprised if in, let's say, 1 to 2 years, we are looking at the finished map expecting it to be released. Subscribe right now or you will miss out on what Valve has next for CS2.